Hi, Daryl. Can you share some of your background with us? You have a rich background in robotics, and you've been to a lot of competitions. You've pioneered a lot of things in this area. Can you share some of it with our viewers?
Sure. I think what you're talking about is the fact that in a relatively new industry, which are student robotic competitions, we've been doing those for quite a while. So our first student competition under the AUVSI, which is the Association for Unmanned Vehicle Systems International, which a lot of the students know that acronym or that name. But what a lot of them don't understand is that we did our first ever aerial robotics competition in 1991. And so it was an attempt at that time to get students interested and engaged and with some hands-on experience. And without all the history in between, it's exciting to see that what started back at that level on a very small scale in the U.S. has grown to become something that's just this rich industry of robotic competitions that are allowing students from all over the world to learn, to collaborate, and to get some really phenomenal hands-on experience that makes them really, really well qualified for all the businesses that are now suddenly in this robotics industry.
So you've seen a lot of competitions in the span of time that you've worked in robotics industry and also in academia. What do you think, like when you came to SAUVC, how are the standards here? Are they preparing well to the industry level?
I think the thing that's the most exciting to me is that by having competitions that are in key strategic locations like Singapore, you make it much easier for students from all across Asia to travel locally to something and also to collaborate with each other. So there are two parts of that. Number one is just the basic hands-on experience that they get from the engineering project, from building the AUV and then competing, learning and seeing how other teams do that. And because it's sort of this open form, they see innovative approaches that may be somewhat different from what they tried.
That's right.
The second part of it is just it's building this community of students that will be working together for most of their careers, for those that go down that path. And that's really the key part, because we like to believe that this sort of educational program will break down a lot of the political or geographic walls that exist anywhere in the world. And that the students that mix and match and collaborate and share ideas will understand that they're all sort of in the same mission. And they're through this together. And so they are one big collaborative community. And I think that's the most exciting part of it all.
That's great. That's a great perspective and, a great lesson for students here. Do you have any specific advice that you would like to give them other than collaboration?
Well, that's not a small, it's one word.
Yes,
that
it is a big thing.
It's a very big thing, and especially because most technical students and engineering students are not known to be socially terribly outgoing. I know that's a stereotype, but we're always most encouraged when we see the communication, the sharing, and the things that go on among the students. And so really what I would encourage them to do is just to be very open-minded, to ask questions of each other, to study and understand, to make those contacts and relationships. And it's easier for them because through social media, they can stay in touch. So they can come together for 3 or 4 days, make acquaintances, make relationships that will last for some of them the rest of their careers.
Earlier you also highlighted that it's very important to showcase your work to the general public. So what do you think, what are your thoughts on that?
So I think that the other thing that does not come naturally to most of these students is to promote themselves or to promote their technology and what they do. There was a great example in the last year where a team of students that participated in some of our competitions from Thailand got involved in the cave rescue of the students, the soccer team that was trapped in the cave system in Thailand.
Wow.
And so because it was a phenomenal, it was a great story to showcase the application of this technology.
Absolutely.
And the key is that it's one thing to develop in a classroom and as a team the sort of robotic capabilities that are on display here this week. Right. It's another thing to go forward from this competition and find out ways, it's the why. Find out ways that this technology can do good things and serve the greater good of the global community. Whether it's investigating global warming or whether it's tracking things in the water, for example, in this environment. But all of this technology has tremendous application that does great stuff. And the students need to be pushing and finding new ways to use the technology and the capabilities that people may not have even considered at this point.
Thank you so much for that. And you've seen a lot of background work which goes into such challenges and organization point of view. So do you have any advice for the organizing committee that like they can incorporate to make sure that we are at par with the industry levels that are required for making the students, preparing the students basically?
I would not at all propose to be able to tell your organizing committee, which it consists of extremely bright people. They've done a great job. It's a fantastic event. You clearly have a tremendous number of teams and students from this area that are benefiting from this. The key is that I think, and it's something that we struggle with as well, is that reach out to industry. Industry has no idea collectively. There are some that do. They don't have any idea the talent level of what these students represent. And all of the technology companies keep saying that we can't find enough highly qualified students. Well, they're not looking in the right places. They've got to come to these events. They've got to support them. They've got to walk around the pool and just watch the behaviors and the capabilities of these students. And many of them would walk away with a bunch of new employees if they were looking to hire at that moment. But so it's just that message between these events and industry that it's getting better, but industry really just needs to invest more in this.
Yeah, so thank you so much once again, and thanks for your time and being here with us. With one last question, I'll let you go.
That's all right.
So if you had to describe SAUVC in one word, what would you say?
Innovation.
Thank you so much, Daryl, for your time. Thanks.